Hi, I'm here to do a ranking for the antagonists from the Tim Burton and Joel Schumacher Batman films. I'm a huge fan of the films, huge nostalgic films for me, and I have lots of fond memories of them, and I do like all of the films, and that does even include Batman Robin. And I like the antagonists in the films a lot. I think that some of them aren't the best, some of them could have been better, but it's hard for me to think of an antagonist that I really dislike. Like a few missed opportunities, but I don't think any of the antagonists are super awful or anything. And I actually have 16 antagonists to rank, and I could seem like too many. However, I am including some of the characters that worked for the main villains. I think that there's some pretty memorable ones that deserve to be included. In 16th place, last place, Spice. I think in Batman Forever, having Two Face have two female henchwomen and one bad and one good. An interesting idea. I'm not sure if it's something that's been done in the comics previously before, but at least in Batman Forever, it's pretty interesting of an idea. I just don't think it's explored very much. And I think that it feels more like a little bit of a kind of fun little background thing than anything that gets a super lot of focus. And Spice in particular feels like she doesn't get that much to do. So last place for her. 15th place, Sugar. Um, Similar to Spice, doesn't feel like she gets that much to do, although I feel like she gets a little bit more to do than Spice because of the scene at the party, so at least there's that, but still not a character that's explored that much. In 14th place is Bane. Something I want to make it clear. I truly hope that the actor Robert Swenson is um, resting peacefully in heaven. I am religious and I do believe in the afterlife, and um, I think that my problems when it comes to Bane aren't from Robert Swenson. I think that he had the right physicality for the role, so I really want to make that clear. But with that said, I feel like Batman Robin has possibly the one of the worst adaptations of Bane. And I feel like Batman Robin's one of the reasons why I didn't like Bane that much growing up. Or I liked him well enough, but didn't really think that much about him. In Batman Robin, Bane oddly feels kind of forgettable. Having him be a henchman and not be very smart, it doesn't feel like the right uh, way to have Bane in a film where um, something that I think helps Bane be a really interesting character is that he's really smart in addition to being really strong. I feel like strong, muscular characters that aren't very smart, I feel like that's been done so many times. So taking a character that feels very unique and taking that uniqueness away from him, that does feel like bit of a missed opportunity. Bane's still entertaining, he's amusing, but I do think it is very much a misguided version of Bane, unfortunately. In 13th place is Bob. Bob is a character that feels like a fun background character. Where it doesn't feel like he gets a whole lot of focus, but it's just fun to see him and uh, how much fun he gets from watching Jack do stuff, and he's pretty entertaining. And uh, I would have liked to see Bob come back and stuff. I think that could have been fun. Bob's a pretty solid character. I do enjoy him. 12 is the organ grinder from Batman Returns. I think that the henchmen characters in Batman Returns, some of them could be pretty memorable. I think the organ grinder uh, really feels more like kind of a supervillain than Bob, so I think that helps him get just a little bit above him, where it feels like a bit more theatrical of a character, and he's pretty entertaining to have around. Doesn't have a super big role or anything, but I do like the character. I do think he brings some fun stuff to the film. In 11th place is the Poodle Lady from Batman Returns. I love that the Poodle Lady is a character in the Batman film. I love that there's a poodle that takes a batarang away from Batman, and the Poodle Lady is a kind of a ridiculous character, which I love. I love having ridiculous characters in Batman stuff, and I would love to see the Poodle Lady come back. She's a lot of fun. Just doesn't get a lot to do, but I really enjoy her. Um, in 10th place is Carl Grissom, who doesn't have a lot of screen time in Batman, but is very important and is one of the big villains of the film. And he has a very memorable presence, intimidating, pretty entertaining. Pretty much the only thing that holds him back is that he's just not in the film that much. 9, Dr. Jason Woodrue, who is very much a character that I would love to have higher in this ranking because I love John Glover so much. I really like his Riddler voice. I love Lionel Luthor so much. And I love that he got to play Jason Woodrue. Very entertaining, very memorable performance. Just isn't in the film that much. I would have loved to have him be Floronic Man. There was so much opportunities and so much fun stuff that could have been done with him. But for the brief amount of screen time that he got, he sure was a lot of fun. In 8th place is Two-Face. Two-Face is often one of the most compelling, fascinating Batman villains of all time. So much nuance to him. That doesn't really feel the case in Batman Forever. He doesn't feel nearly as sympathetic or multi-layered as the character normally is. And I feel like live action adaptations of Two Face often aren't as good as the comic uh, versions of Two Face and the animated versions of Two Face. Um, a lot of times it seems like the focus is on Harvey Dent, not much on Two Face. So at least Batman Forever has a lot of Two Face. What I do like about the Batman Forever Two Face is that he is still entertaining in the film. Even if it's not what I normally want Two Face to be, at least he's fun to watch. So I still like him. 7 is Mr. Freeze. Very entertaining villain. Lots of memorable stuff. Really adds a lot to Batman Robin. If anything holds him back, I feel like he's not as sympathetic as I feel like the film is trying to make him out to be, because he does feel a bit more villainous than the other sympathetic versions of Mr. Freeze, and a bit more immature, so it's harder to care about his sympathetic backstory in Batman Robin, but at least he's a lot of fun in the film. 6 is the Riddler. The Riddler is one of my favorite Batman villains, and the Riddler is one of my favorite Jim Carrey roles. In terms of Riddler performances, I think that Frank Gorshin will always be the definitive Riddler actor for me, but Jim Carrey is certainly a lot of fun in the film. I really like his performance, and he does add a lot to make Batman Forever a very enjoyable experience of a film to watch. In fifth place is Max Schreck, a fascinating character. Max Schreck could have been a just a greedy businessman in the background, not a lot of personality, but Max Schreck is such a fascinating, intimidating, entertaining character, adds so much to Batman Returns, actually has a lot of screen time, and is very much important to what's going on. Is very heavily involved in what Penguin's doing, is important for Catwoman's backstory. He's a really good, underrated villain. In fourth place is the Penguin. The Penguin is a consistently great Batman villain. It's hard to think of an adaptation of the Penguin that I dislike. The Batman Returns version of the Penguin feels a lot different than other versions of the Penguin, and it's not quite my favorite version of the Penguin. There are some versions that I do like more, but the Batman Returns version is very fascinating. It feels like a very brilliant reinvention. Uh, Great, entertaining stuff. I wish his sympathetic side, like the tragic backstory, was explored just a little bit more. But aside from that, love that version of the Penguin. In third place is the Joker. He is just so much fun, so stylish, filled with really fun stuff. Really great version of the Joker. Uh, Feels very iconic and just adds so much to the various scenes that he's in. Second is Poison Ivy. And why I have Poison Ivy so high in my ranking is the Batman Robin version of Poison Ivy is my favorite adaptation of Poison Ivy that I've ever seen. Uh, I love that Batman Robin gave a version of Poison Ivy that felt like uh, a 1960s villain sort of take on Poison Ivy. I love that Poison Ivy very much feels like a very over the top villain. I feel like a lot of adaptations, a lot of recent comics focus on an anti hero version of Poison Ivy, and I feel like a lot of Poison Ivy's villainy and potential to be a really fun character, and not just be a character that gets a bunch of fan service, but just is actually really entertaining to watch. I feel like that doesn't get explored enough. I feel like Batman Robin really explored Poison Ivy to some really great, entertaining stuff. She is delightful in Batman Robin and is easily the most entertaining character in the film. And in first place is Catwoman. Similarly to how Batman Robin has my favorite adaptation of Poison Ivy, Batman Returns has my favorite adaptation of Catwoman. Um, really feels like a great reinvention, even better than the reinvention of the Penguin. Uh, a character that is sympathetic, tragic, but also very intimidating. I love that Catwoman really gets to feel like she gets to have a lot of fun and she gets to have a lot of very odd qualities that I feel like Catwoman's often feels a little bit more normal than some of the other major Batman villains. So I love that Batman Returns really got to let her have as much fun as a lot of the other villains. I love her chemistry with Batman. I love Selina Kyle and Bruce Wayne's interactions. It's one of the rare times where I actually love a romance storyline in a Batman film. And Catwoman is such an entertaining character that is able to feel villainous yet still a tragic character that I care about. Love her so much. So that is my ranking, and feel free to let me know what your ranking is.